Hey guys, I'm Ed Clark and today I'm having a look at the brand new DSM and Humboldt Dumblifier. Before all that though, please make sure you like, subscribe and check out the merch link below to get cool t-shirts like this one. Okay, so the Dumblifier is of course the Dumble version of the Simplifier that's been around for quite a long time, and it's an all analog ampless rig. So we have stereo, XLR or TRS out so that you can plug directly into a mixing desk or an FR cab, something like that. We've got 2 channels, we've got foot switchable boosts, we've got various different cabs, we've got all sorts of clever things going on, but it's all analog, no digital menus at all. Okay, so there is a lot to get through, so let's get cracking straight away. I've got this running through my UAD Apollo Twin. No amp emulation, obviously, and I'm using my Fender Professional Strat with Seymour Duncan's Everything Acts pickup set in it. Sounds like this on the clean channel. Now there's a small amount of one of the 3 inbuilt reverbs. Let's start there, because why not? There's so much to do. This is the room reverb. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so you can really hear it. So here's the room reverb. And then we've got ethereal. And then we have got plate. I think for your everyday amp sounds, the room one is my favourite, so I'm going to leave it on that. Lovely. Now, before we even reach really the main bit of this pedal, there are 3 different versions of the input boost. So I'm currently on the low boost mode. I can flip that up to high. Just pushing the front of it a little bit more. Or I can turn it off entirely. I personally find at least the low one is kind of necessary for me to get a little bit of grit going. Now, as per every Dumble clone that's ever existed, we've got a jazz and rock switch here. So if I go over to the rock mode, we get a bit louder and we get a lot more low end. Now I think this is the perfect time to explore the various different cabs that we've got available. So I've currently got a G12M speaker in a 412. So let's leave it on that speaker and try some of the other cab sizes. So this is 412. Some pretty different characters there. I'm particularly a fan of the 212. Yeah, I'm liking the 212s. Let's stick with that and let's try the other speakers. So like I said, that's a G12M. This is a G12H. And this is an EV12L. Really liking that EV for the clean tones. Let's leave it on there for now. And let's see what this mid boost does. Pretty much what it says on the tin. It's definitely throatier. And then we've also got a bright switch. articulation. Now I've got all the switches engaged, so we're pushing the amp a little bit more. I'm going to show you what happens when I go over to the high boost mode. We get a little bit more hair coming out of the amp. Now, before I move on to the overdrive channel, I want to show you this switch over here. Now, this is a really cool idea. They've made it optional to whether it's a reverb on-off switch, I don't think I need to demonstrate that, or what they've called the PAB, preamp boost. Now, what this does is it bypasses the tone stack, which is the 3-band EQ and the rock/jazz switch, bypasses them entirely, and because those components in the original Dumble would have drawn out a little bit of the tone, by bypassing them you get a natural slight boost, but you obviously lose the control of the EQ. The bright switch and the mid boost still operate as normal, but I'll show you what I mean. Really cool, but that isn't even the overdrive channel. That is just the clean. Before I get on with the next part of the video, if you're enjoying it and you're interested in lessons, gear, giveaways, and other guitar related things, please make sure you subscribe. It really does help out the channel massively. So let's turn all these switches off and let's hear the overdrive channel. Just putting it back on the low boost mode. Okay, let's try the rock mode. Sticking that mid hump. Bright switch. Very subtle, that bright switch. Okay, and then obviously we can add in the preamp boost. Now, if I put this onto the high boost mode again, you'll hear there is quite a lot of gain available in this pedal. Okay, back onto the low mode. Let's dial things down a bit. Let's have a look at this 3-band EQ. Okay, what I'd actually like to do is see whether the cab choice is still my favorite, because there's no way you can set one cab for the overdrive and one cab for the clean. So I just want to see whether I can have one cab setting and it work for both for me. So I'm currently on 2x12 EV. So let's try, let's first try 1x12. 4x12. No, I think I prefer the 112. Okay, yeah, I like that. Let's try a different speaker. Nah, not that one. Is that better than what I had originally, though? I'm not sure about better, it's just different. But that's good. That means that we've got multiple usable tones. What I really hate is when you have a pedal, you have to dial in, and that's the only tone that you'll like. Every other setting isn't usable. So all these switches, if I only liked one position on them, it would seem wasteful. Like, why bother having them all if I'm only ever going to use this one position? So it's quite cool that there are various different tones and they're all usable. Okay, that's a pretty quick overview. Obviously, there's a whole load of combinations I didn't try with 3 different cabs, 3 different speaker choices. There's a lot more choices I could have gone through. But in the interest of keeping this video at a sensible length, I thought I'd leave it there and move on to what I think. If you want to see a full deep dive of this pedal, go check out Anston's video. They've done a brilliant one where they really talk through every feature in detail. So I didn't really just want to recreate that video. But anyway, what do I like? Well, the first thing is just something about the way this feels and sounds. Obviously, I've never played a real Dumble, so I'm not going to even enter into the does it sound like a Dumble thing. I'm not going there. I'm sure someone will do that kind of review online if you want to check that out, but I'm not going to go there. What I will say is I've played a lot of Dumble sounding pedals. Obviously, a lot of models that are supposed to sound like Dumbles, etc., etc. This is the first time playing a Dumble clone when I've felt something is particularly special. There's that magic. And for Dumble to be as legendary as they are, there has to be some magic when you play one. There has to be a reason that it is so revered and that whole thing started. So playing this, there was just something I can't describe about the way multiple notes interact. I'll see if I can show you what I mean. On the Overdrive channel, there's just something there. I don't know whether it's a feel thing or whether it's a sound thing. Maybe you're watching this going, what are you on about? That just sounds like you playing a chord in a distorted amp. But something about it feels special. It's when you play a chord and go, oh, that sounds great. So there's just something about that sound. I will say that as a studio tool, the amount they have packed into this tiny little box is nuts. All the reverbs, what I haven't even talked about really is the fact that you've got different cabs for each of the left and right channels means you can record 2 different cabs simultaneously, like you might record an amp with 2 mics to get different sounds to blend. You can do that. Or you can have them as a stereo thing, so when you use the stereo return on the effects loop that it's got, you can have more spread by having different sounds for, say, your delays on the left and right. They'll sound more different. It will give you a wider stereo spread. Really, really cool, the amount they've managed to pack in there. The amount of options they provided you on the ways you can use it. So you've got the 2 XLRs, you've got the 2 TRSs. You can toggle whether the cab simulator is on or off for those, the jack outputs at least, not for the XLRs, but for the jack outputs. You've got a headphone output on it. You've got an aux in on it, I believe, Just the amount you can do is just mind-boggling. And I think they've done a really, really good job of making it not too scary to look at. It's not overwhelming. It's pretty easy to understand what everything does. Okay, so what are some potential issues? I don't think there's anything absolutely wrong with it, just to be clear. There are some things that I would be aware of. I think it's being more tiered towards a studio tool. Obviously, they've got the foot switches there if you wanted to use it live. There are some limitations if you're used to digital rigs or presets and things like that. Like I alluded to earlier on, you can't have a different cab allocated to each channel, which obviously if it was digital, you probably could. But that isn't an option you've got on there. It's not MIDI controllable and all that stuff, but I don't think it's really meant to be that kind of market. But things like the fact there are 3 different boosts on it. You've got the input boost, you've got the preamp boost, and you've got the mid boost here, and they've all kind of got a caveat. The mid boost and the input boost aren't foot switchable, so you can't use them as a boost like mid-song, as like a gain boost or a solo boost. And then the one that is foot switchable, you obviously lose the EQ, so if that's important to you, that boost wouldn't particularly be usable to you, so you'd then be looking at using another pedal in front or after it. So there are just things to think about. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's an issue so much as making sure you realise what you're buying and what it's intended for. I think this is much more a studio tool. It's sort of every Dumble tone you could want ready to go without needing to worry about miking up amps or buying a £200,000 amp. So there you have it, the DSM and Humboldt Dumblifier. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon ticked to be notified of new videos. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.